Okay. So nearly there. 2 more talks. Hands up who's been here since lunchtime. Johnny over there, good man. So stick around. We've got 1 more talk after this. If you've got an interest in data science, it's definitely one to stick around for. But for now, the most important mindset in an age of disruption is the ability to question ourselves and the status quo. This doesn't develop in a homogenous group. Diversity in gender, race, ethnicity, and sexual orientation, amongst others, are essential components of a vibrant culture. To explore how every SaaS company, from startup to stalwart, can instill a culture of diversity and inclusion, please welcome to the stage the Chief Strategy Officer with SAP, Deepak Krishnamurthy.
How's everybody doing today? It's great to be here. It's fantastic to be here. It's fantastic to be here in Lisbon. It's great to be here with all of you innovators, entrepreneurs here. And SAP is so proud to be part of this community. Many of you out here are probably going to be looking at being the next Google or the next Amazon or the next Microsoft or even the next SAP. Yes, I said the next SAP. Did you know that SAP is Europe's largest SaaS company with over 5 billion euros of cloud revenue? You probably didn't know that, right? Did you know that SAP is also the fastest growing SaaS company across the industry at 40% growth in the cloud? Probably you didn't know that too. You probably didn't know that SAP has over 150 million users in the cloud today. What we want to do at SAP is not just work with our customers, the large enterprise customers, but work with startups in a diverse and inclusive way, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. And before I do that, let me give you a little bit of background in terms of where SAP is going from a strategy perspective. Over the last 50 years, if you look at what SAP has done, SAP has been growing along with the industry trends. In the 1970s, it's been about mainframe computing and the industrial automation era. SAP's R1 and R2 technologies enabled the next level of plant automation across the large manufacturing customers in Europe. If you fast forward to the 1990s, with the business process automation driven by client-server and internet computing, SAP's R3 product enabled the connected enterprise, connecting sales to marketing to finance, connecting HR to finance, supply chain to sales. It was all about delivering a connected enterprise leveraging technology. Over the last 10 years, it's all about digital technologies, mobile, cloud computing, big data. And SAP has been driving digital transformation with our suite of products, the S/4HANA flagship ERP product, Concur for travel and expense, SuccessFactors for HR, Ariba for procurement, contingent labor delivered by Fieldglass, and Hybris for commerce. With all of these technologies, we are on path to deliver digital transformation for our customers. Now, if you look at the next 5 years, we believe there's going to be a huge opportunity to deliver more value to our customers. And that's all about AI, machine learning, blockchain, IoT technologies. In the next 5 years, there's going to be a Cambrian explosion of intelligence driven by these technologies. Why is that the case? You look at computers over the last 50 years, they've done only one thing very well. They've been able to crunch numbers at scale. Think about supply chain, logistics, planning, HR, payroll, even Excel. It's all about number crunching at scale. The next 5 years is about leveraging technologies like AI and machine learning to do things that haven't been done before. Think about understanding text, not just text, understanding meaning in text. Think about understanding voice, and not just voice, emotion in voice. Think about understanding images and moving video, and not just understanding what's happening right now, but predicting what can happen next. That's the power of these technologies. And that's what we believe is going to happen in the next 5 years in the enterprise. And SAP is all about delivering the intelligent enterprise for our customers. Now, what does this mean for many of you out here? It's about how can SAP work with you as a startup community to go and deliver this to our end customers, because this is not something that SAP is going to do by itself. It's all about a team sport. Innovation is a team game. We are all in it together. What SAP is doing over the next 3 years is threefold. One, we are delivering an intelligent suite of applications across every single business process. What do we mean by that? It's about connecting customer experience to supply chain, to fulfillment, to financials, to inventory, to people, engagement, and sourcing. Think of CRM today. Customer experience doesn't stop at CRM. It starts with CRM. It goes from CRM to design, to manufacturing, to personalization, to getting the right product at the right time. It's about living in an experience economy. So if you're a customer today, you want a product where you want it, when you want it, and based on whatever you need, personalized for you. And that's the notion of having a connected enterprise across CRM, supply chain manufacturing, and delivering intelligence everywhere, sensing and responding automatically. If you look at what SAP is doing in the intelligence area, it's about also leveraging a digital platform of data management and cloud technologies, leveraging our HANA data management suite, but also delivering distributed data management. And then it's all about embedding intelligence into the business process. Now, if you look at what does this mean for our customers, it means they get intelligence in the box. It's about enabling next level of automation, next level of invoice matching, next level of customer prediction, next level of predictive recruiting into the business process. And that's something SAP is doing with our applications, but also with partners. And that's the keyword, ecosystem and partners. Because we don't do this all by ourselves. We have to have a community of a vibrant ecosystem that is going to work with us. To that effect, what we are doing is we are opening up our APIs, we are opening up our data for startups, partners, system integrators to work with. And the idea is that you leverage the power of data in the SAP systems, you can do magic with it. Think of what you can do with Ariba. Ariba is the world's largest business network. $1.9 trillion of transactions go through the Ariba network. Imagine the richness of data across invoices, across suppliers, across customers that's in the Ariba network. Think of the data that sits inside SAP ERP. Imagine the data that touches over 70% of world's GDP across financial transactions. We want to be able to provide access to the ecosystem to leverage the data inside SAP to build new intelligent applications. It's also about open innovation. The open innovation is what we think in terms of innovating with startups. And that's a big passion for us, and that's something that we are doing with SAP.io. SAP.io is our platform and a vehicle for open innovation with startups. We have two areas of collaboration with startups. One is a fund, which is direct venture investments, seed and Series A investments with startups. The idea is to go invest in companies that are interesting enough for SAP to work with and interesting enough for customers. We do the same thing with a network of foundries or accelerators where we work closely with startups on a zero equity model. That's right, I said zero equity model. Why do we do this? What's the big picture? It's about delivering impact with startups to our customers. It's about giving them access to our customers, giving them access to our product APIs so that we can co-innovate with them. It's also about mentorship. Mentorship goes both ways. SAP mentoring the startups and the startups mentoring SAP. But with mentorship, we can provide sales mentorship to scale a startup and product mentorship in terms of delivering the industry expertise for startups to go build on top of. It's also about being part of the ecosystem. SAP has the world's largest ecosystem in the application space. And now with SAP App Center, our startups can be part of that ecosystem by publishing their products and be able to transact electronically with our customers. And customers can discover and buy the solutions that our startup partners have in the App Center. Ultimately, it's all about customer impact. That's why we are all here. It's about having startups and customers co-innovate with us. In a design thinking workshop, we typically work with customers, solving problems for them, and we bring the right startup to that particular environment so that our customers can co-innovate with them. It's also about collaboration. It's about how startups can collaborate with our community of customers and system integration partners and large software vendors. And this truly creates a community where 1 + 1 = 11. That's the idea of what we are trying to do with SAP.io. If I look at what we have done across the fund portfolio, which is our large portfolio of investments across 15+ companies we have made over the last 20 months, a lot of these companies are doing very interesting things around the core applications that we have. Take, for example, Big ID. Big ID is a startup out of New York and Tel Aviv, and what they do is they reduce risk with data for GDPR. Or take the example of a company called Area 17, a startup in Oakland, California, that does drones in indoor warehouses, leveraging data from SAP Warehouse Management System. The idea is to go innovate with these interesting and innovative companies so that we can go deliver value for our customers together. If I look at two specific examples that you'll find very interesting, I want to talk about Plum and I want to talk about Medal. Plum is this HR startup that makes HR recruiting so much easier. Recruiting is an art, it's not science. It's not just about hiring for skill, it's also about hiring for fit. Plum adds a layer of behavioral analysis using AI-driven psychometric analysis to make sure that the right fit is enabled in the hiring process. How many times have we all gone and hired the right person for the right skill, but ended up like not having the person on the team for long term because the cultural fit wasn't right? Plum solves that. With Plum being part of the SAP IO family, they're part of an app center, and they're able to go and deliver value to our customers, and SAP is able to introduce them to the right CHRO audiences. Take the example of Medal, a healthcare company based in San Francisco. Medal is enabling data access from physicians in a very simple way. How many times have we all spent time in a doctor's clinic filling up forms 1,000 times in terms of data that's already been out there? Medal makes healthcare simpler and much more effective by automating data access and creating a single view of a health record for a physician, for an insurance company, and for a pharma company. And with Medal, what we do is we are co-innovating in delivering next-generation healthcare solutions for our customers. We also have the Foundry Network that I mentioned. And the Foundry Network is all about having a network of accelerators across San Francisco, New York, Berlin, Paris, Tel Aviv, and Asia next year. We do the same thing that we do with the fund, except that we don't take equity. We do the same mentorship. We do the same customer access. We drive the same level of API integration. The idea is volume and scale. Over the last 20 months, SAP.io has worked with nearly 100 companies across the spectrum of both the fund and the foundry. Now, that's a big number, given that we have been around only for 20 months. But what I'm really proud of, truly, truly proud of, is the fact that over 40% of these companies are either founded or have a CEO who's a diverse entrepreneur or a women entrepreneur. And that is something that you probably don't see in the industry much, where the average number of startups that are either women or diverse entrepreneur funded is probably around 20, 25%. And now, why is this important? Why is this important for us? It's important because we believe that we want to be able to go and have an inclusive entrepreneurship across everything that we do. And the statistics are there, right? So you know that less than 10% of venture capital funding goes to women, less than 2% goes to Black and Latino founders, less than 0.2% goes to Black and Latino women founders. The statistics are pretty horrible, and we need to make a difference. And the difference needs to be made at 3 levels. It's got to be at the financing level, it's got to be about creating the right community, and it's got to be also in terms of how you set up your team. So what SAP.io decided to do was the first Foundry cohort that we ran in San Francisco, we said it's going to be a women cohort. And we had 7 amazing startups founded by women. That was the first thing that we did in the US. And this was so successful that we said, why not just run a cohort? Why don't we just go and run a whole location focused on women and diverse entrepreneurs? So in summer of 2018, that's this year, we had 10 great startups with women-led founders and women-led startups come in and work on B2B SaaS products and solutions jointly with us. And that's what New York is all about. New York is going to be about women and diverse entrepreneurs driving impact with our customers. And this is making a huge difference. You cannot go and say that, OK, I'm just going to run a women-only program or a minority program for startups. You have to rethink how you do this fundamentally as a company. One of the things that we did was that our entire management of SAP.io that's running the Foundry, over 80%, 5 out of the 6 accelerators are run by women. That means that you take the cognitive bias out of the equation. So you're starting to invest in women and minority entrepreneurs in a much more proactive way. The industry average is more like 25%. So having 80% of the accelerators led by women makes an enormous difference, not just in terms of recruiting and attracting the right level of women entrepreneurs, but also in terms of how you work with them, how do you support them, and how do you help them scale. If you look at the entire team, more than 60% of a team is diverse. Again, makes a huge difference in terms of how you take diversity, not just as an afterthought, but keep it front and center. We all know that diverse teams have better outcomes in terms of startup exits. Typically, startups with diverse teams have 10 to 15% higher exits and higher returns. And the idea of having a diverse team that's managing both investment and acceleration enables a culture of diversity that goes from top down. That's the idea of enabling inclusiveness and diversity from the get-go. We all know that diversity is a fact. We also probably know that inclusion is a choice. But imagine if we can work together and make inclusion a fact. That's no longer a choice. That every company comes together, makes inclusion in terms of how we work with startups as a priority, and make this as a real thing rather than doing something as a one-off basis. To that effect, we want to do something special here in Europe. And I'm going to have Alexandra Gorman, who's my partner in crime, who runs our European operations for SAP.io, join me on stage, talk about what we are going to do in Europe. Alexa, come over.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you. So we started the Foundry journey in Europe just over a year and a half ago with the Foundry in Berlin that we opened. And I'm really proud to say by the end of this year, we will have accelerated just over 30 startups in areas such as machine learning, AI, but also Industry 4.0 and the manufacturing space. What we, as Deepak said, what we offer the startups that come to us is to really be able to accelerate through integrating into SAP's product portfolio, but then also to the access to the 400,000 plus customers that we bring. So we started in Berlin last year. We've run 3 programs, or currently in our 3rd program there, and we just opened Paris in October and are accelerating 6 French startups that are what we like to call, in general, the startups that we accelerate, the rising stars. I'm thrilled to be here today. Of the 30 startups that we have accelerated, I think we have about 8 that are actually at Web Summit and are seeing phenomenal interest, both from investors but also from B2B companies that are interested in using their solutions. I'm also thrilled to be here today because we have an announcement. In line with what Deepak was mentioning, we're actually launching the first Accelerator program in Berlin, kicking off in March and running until June for underrepresented minorities. So we will have a cohort there that will get the access and the mentorship that Deepak mentioned in the B2B SaaS space. This is something that hasn't been done, or one of the first of its kind anyway, in Europe. And we're basically opening applications today here at Web Summit. So if there are startups here who in that space, we'd love to hear from you. Please go to sap.io and you'll see all the details and the opportunity to apply. So that's what we're excited to announce today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is something that's very important for us. We are confident that it's going to make a big impact in the European ecosystem. If you're a startup, we would love to hear your dreams. We'd love to understand how we can work with you and help you. If you're a women or diverse founder, our application's open for Berlin. So please let us know how you can work with us. If you're in the B2B space, we can do things together. That's going to be magical. Thank you very much.
Thank you.